have been on CNN. Nobody knows what it's like being Gwen. Windows closed in the house, it ain't no CNN. Can't gain weight for years, she been being thin. Single mother, no help from the system. When they was giving out food stamps, she missed them. Birth certificate, baby daddy, she couldn't list them. But her son was so beautiful when she kissed him. Blame it on love, but nigga she could've died with. Destroyed the whole world and found out she was a side chick. The nigga loved his wife and it got hard to hide it. So when Gwen confronted him, he ain't even denied it. Her fault, depends on who you asking. She tried to be a stripper, but the tip out was taxing. Buying all the purses, trying to keep up with the fashion. And her mama hated babysitting with a passion. She deserved better circumstances. A black queen, she should've been blessed with certain chances. Look down upon, getting all of hurting glances. Making men change up all the twerking stances. She never cried about the pain, only gritted her teeth. But most soldiers never get a flower or a wreath. She like G.I. Jane in the war with no relief. Don't recognize why killers was going through her beef. She said more prayers than the nun did. After seeing so much struggles with only one kid, the clinic said baby number 2 couldn't be undid. 9 months later, delivery and it's one big. But this time it was an older dude. But the shit happened so fast, she barely know the dude. Damn, but we all make mistakes though. And the older we get, that's how mistakes go. So he claimed the baby, now with no money. He said shit was hard and his dollars was kind of funny. Real was feeling like that was strike 2. So when it rains and pours, that's just how life do. She was thinking about her childhood and how life flew. Her daddy she always loved, but she never quite knew. This was before the bags and the cellulite grew. Other bitches in her shoe, no telling what they might do. You lose a lot of friends, they start to despite you. Passing judgment when they don't got the right to. And even though I love the gangsters, the same for the gangsters. I remember you no matter how big the fame gets. Paint a perfect picture, baby you can frame this. As long as I'm snapping, you will never be nameless. While I was robbing, you did things that was shameless. Both products of our environment, we was blameless. They deserve better, those women who raised men. Who went out of town with us in that day's end. The ones we leave on the streets when them days in. Got slammed right with us when the feds blaze in. Not only men is going through it on the wild.
We're rewarding you for something you already do, listening to us. It's Radio Loyalty, and it's an easy way for you to get free stuff. All you do is sign up. Go ahead and click the banner now. You'll earn points as you listen. Points you can trade in for great products and services in the Radio Loyalty store. You can earn even more points.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right. Welcome to another edition of Living a Rich Life, a talk show for people who believe in change in all aspects of life. I am your host, Rich James, and I believe living a rich life is made up of 6 elements. Goals and opportunity, extraordinary experiences, financial freedom, good health, strong relationships, and philanthropy. Today, we're going to focus on love and writing and life. So with that being said, I want you to tune in and let's talk about it. Today, our featured guest is a graduate from Morgan State University with a degree in marketing and a concentration in communications, author and speaker who writes personal essays and memoirs as well as self-help and spiritual essays, writer and creator of books and workshops that help women embrace their layers and write from the heart, featured in several publications, including Shondaland, Carol's Daughter, and Black Enterprise, and now being featured on Living a Rich Life talk show. It is my profound pleasure and honor to welcome Miss Gigi Renee. Yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So first of all, it's been a while, all right? How are you doing? How are you doing? There's 2 questions that I always ask. First one is, how are you doing? Well, actually 3 now. For you, it's today is special. It's 3, right? How are you doing? Tell us who Gigi Renee is. And then the other question you're going to get a little later, but I think you know what it is. So talk to us.
So first, how am I doing? I'm doing very well.
Okay.
It's great to see you, to be with an old friend.
Yes. We're going to have some good conversation, y'all.
Yes. And who is Gigi Renee? Gigi
Keep talking.
And a woman, a mother,
Okay.
and someone who made a big change in life to find more meaning and purpose in what it is exactly she's doing here. And I think that's that's the path that brought me here today. When I met you, I was working in corporate America, and I had a successful career. I had a lot of positive things going. However, inside at the time, I didn't feel fulfilled by the work. I didn't feel fulfilled by checking off the boxes that I had been laid out for me. Like, you know, my parents ingrained in me, you go to college, you get this type of job. It was even like specifically what type of job. You're going to be in business, engineering, or medicine.
Okay.
All of this was laid out for me. So I tried to check the boxes according to their plans as best as I could. And being a young person, you know, who really enjoyed school but didn't have a specific passion.
You did enjoy school, yes.
I loved school. I loved getting good grades. I loved that whole dynamic of just like pleasing and getting praise for that. But beyond that, like what I wanted to do in my life, I didn't know. So I followed the plan. But when I got there, I didn't find it very fulfilling.
Okay.
So that path led me to ultimately leaving corporate America and carving out this path of just creative exploration and knowing that I wanted to write, that I wanted to work with women in some way.
Okay.
But just having to literally, like, I felt like I had on a blindfold, walking around in a room, trying to find where I could sense the light and just like figuring it out as I went, because I didn't have a path for that laid out for me by
anything.
Yeah.
So let me piggyback on that.
Okay.
So what inspired you? Is that kind of what inspired you to start writing? The fact that you tried corporate America, you just didn't feel your complete self.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you just said, hey, let me start writing.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. To get into a little bit more detail, it was triggered by, we all reached that point. I was probably getting close to 30, you know, and I had been through my crazy 20s. I was getting close to 30, and I was just like, man. So I was feeling anxiety and a lot of negative emotion, and I felt like I had this blessed life. Right. Why do I feel so much negative emotion? Why do I feel this anxiety? So a good friend of mine was like, have you ever been to therapy? And I was like, no. Like, that's,
you know, they say black people, we don't go to
that's
therapy.
not for me. People like me don't go to therapy. I'm a happy person. I'm
Right.
a blessed person. What do I need to go to therapy
Right,
for? That was
right,
the
right.
mentality that I had. And it actually was triggered by that, going to therapy and having this. And I went to my first therapist I went to, was an amazing experience. I had this black woman, probably about 15 years older than me. So she was just kind of like...
Kind of like maybe a mother.
Yeah,
type
she
figure.
had
Okay.
the technical training, but she also just had this vibe that I was like missing, because I didn't have that type of dynamic, a mother figure type. Not mother figure, she's 15 years older, but you get what I'm saying.
I got you.
Just sort of that nurturing. And so she was like, man, I keep hearing that when you were younger and you were looking for yourself, or you were looking for escape, or you were looking for just some type of peace within yourself, you would write and you would create. Are you doing any of that now? And I was like, no, I don't have time for that.
Right.
So that's what led me to start writing again, was at her urging.
So I have a segment that we call a rich life moment in time.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
And we're gonna have some fun with that.
Okay.
So how long have you been writing now?
Since I started writing as an adult, that was probably like 2000. That was probably about 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So there was a gap. I wrote a lot growing up as a child, just stories and things like that. When I got to college, and like those years, those college and early 20 years, I wasn't writing at all. I was probably just writing in my journal every now and then when I was upset.
Okay.
You know?
When you was at the power plant.
That's those party years.
Oh, okay.
You know?
So about 10 years. About 10
Yeah.
years. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's been about 10 years.
All right. So you said so you started writing as a kid. Did you have
Yeah.
a favorite kid book?
Oh, I had so many. So I was really into fantasy type books like The Wrinkle in Time, that whole series. I was into poetry, like really silly poetry, like Ronald Dahl, like, you know, those kind of things. My mother took
When
me.
you say things on this show here, we might have to put a poem or something. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't have them memorized.
Okay.
But yeah, I was just really into those books. But then I was also into, my mother had in our living room a whole wall of a bookcase. It was like a whole wall. And most of those books, probably a good 75% of those books shouldn't have been read by children. But as I got older, and because I was such an avid reader,
right,
I started, wow, her books are way more interesting than mine. So I got into weird books like Agatha Christie mysteries and romance novels, all kinds of stuff. So I just have had like a really broad, but I bring all that up to say that my mother was also really into spirituality and psychology. So I started picking up books like that at an early age.
Okay.
You know, and developed an interest in those things.
So the question is, so what I generally do, I do my research on my guests, okay? And sometimes I ask folks that may be mutual friends or some people that may follow you on social media.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about how y'all can stay in contact with Gigi Renee. So some of my questions that I have today, guess what? They came from some of your individuals that follow you on Instagram.
That's awesome.
And they want to know. So
Okay.
just to be clear, these are not all Rich James questions. Did my research, and these are your fans that follow you.
I love that.
So, you know, some of the stuff is a little off the chain. I had to edit, but you know, we're going to get there. So how many books have you written to this point?
I've written, I guess, technically 4. One of them I did a second edition of. But it still was a whole new creation, so I'll say 4.
Okay. And because we have some here, folks. We have Wallflower.
That's the newest edition. There's an old edition that I don't sell anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm looking to get my own personal copy with a signature.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
Like you know me.
Yes.
Okay.
A personal message.
Right. So that's the Wallflower. If you haven't got it, where can they pick this guy up?
Amazon. Just go to Amazon and put in search Wallflower by Gigi Renee, and it'll come up for you.
Okay. I like that. All right. And then we have another one here, The Beautiful Disruption.
Yes.
A soul story.
Yes. And that's on Amazon as well. Go type in The Beautiful Disruption by Gigi Renee.
So who did your illustration?
A wonderful, amazing artist named Jennifer Arnice.
Okay.
I think you can find her at jenniferarnice.com. I don't know if she's still doing art because she's moved on to a lot of other amazing projects, but that was an example of 2 women, 2 creatives coming together, recognizing a gift in each other and wanting to collaborate and work together. So that was this is my very first book that I did.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my first one.
Well, that's good. So, how do you balance, right? How do you balance the writing? I mean, 10 years is a long time, and long span, but how do you balance between the writing, the family, all that good stuff? How do you balance that life, right?
Balance is super important, and that has been a huge part of the journey, because you can have all the passion for something in the world, but if you're not balancing your life, your responsibilities, your well-being, all of these things, it's not going to go well for you. It's going to feel like a struggle. So for a while I did struggle. I had this idea that I left working corporate America full-time in 2013, and I had this romanticized idea that I would have all the time in the world now to work on these projects, these creative projects that I wanted to do. But lo and behold, I also had to remember that part of my reason for wanting to do that was so that I could be home and be more present for my kids. I have 3 kids who at the time were, I think, middle school and 2 in elementary school. And so finding that balance took some time and some evolution and some practice and trial and error. But now I'm to the point where I divide my time based on when my kids are at school. That's where I focus around the kids, and I get the work done in between.
That was one of the questions someone was asking, the balance. When do you do your most writing?
Yeah.
Somebody asked that.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break. This next segment, which we play games on this talk show.
I love it.
Right?
Okay.
So it is called I Know Them. Right. So we'll be right back. More with Living a Rich Life here on Be Exposed Radio, featuring Gigi Renee. We'll be right back. Yeah.
You're now listening to BeExposedRadio.com. Check out this fire flashback.
We need to relearn what it is to be these bosses and how we conduct ourselves as business. business-minded individuals and just people in general. Really, I let my gut, and if I call it gut or God or whatever, I'm led by that energy. I know where it comes from. I know where it's, taking me, and you have to figure out what is important to you, and don't play this game. It's a game that we've learned to play, this chess game, and life is not a chess game. Life is real, bones, flesh, blood, decisions.
Make sure you check out the Artist Exchange Show every Monday and Friday at 2 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com.
White keys only have this bitch jumping. Okay. If I sit around, hold up. Look. If I sit around, hold up. Yeah. Rebel up. If I sit around, I'ma smoke some more. Wasn't even thinking about smoke before, but I'm in my head and I'm in the bed. Don't know who I am, like I'm wearing a mask. Working mode, tell them where the cash. If you wear the cash, tell them where the cash. You playing for you, gon' run it back. Don't make promises, but I promise that. Don't promise me, cause I ain't into that. Fell in love with that and got hurt from that. Now it's all over and the curtains back. Can't see you not noticing that. I'm letting it go, it ain't holding me back. Yeah, I'm on dice, but ain't come for the crack. Drinking with uncle, we only do jack. How I'm alive, I thank God for that. Praying about it, things getting better. Open it up with my name on the letter. What you crazy about it? Saying whatever, you shy to be you. You know you gotta be you. Sometimes I need privacy too. Yeah, you know I ride. You know I ride, and you know you ride for me too. Yeah, you know I. Look, you like getting that hit for real. When it's me and Murray, just us, we chill. I'm in a rush to get off to get you. Never ever had to floss to get you. Pay the dues that it cost to kiss you. Rug burns on the carpet with you. Oh yeah. Come on, dog. Told us in there. Had to dedicate this to the homie out of New Orleans. Break. Said she wanna bump that. You wanna do it? Go ahead, do it.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to Living a Rich Life talk show featuring Gigi Renee. So we had some offline conversation, had to make sure some things were in order, but we're back. We are back. So again, this next segment is called I Know Them. So we're going to talk about some famous authors.
Okay.
All right. But before we do that, who is your favorite author and why? Do you have a favorite?
Right. I can't say that I have one specific favorite. I can't say that. But I do have ones that come to mind immediately when I think of ones that have influenced me the most. And one that comes to mind right away was Alice Walker, just because it had an early effect on me. I used to love to watch The Color Purple with my mom. So I hadn't read the book yet.
Okay.
And I feel like I remember my mother not wanting me to read the book. Maybe she didn't feel like I was ready to read the book yet.
Okay.
But eventually I did in my teen years. I read the book. That had an amazing effect on me. And I still didn't see myself as someone who could do work like that. But it moved me in a way that lasted and that I always remembered her. And I was also at a young age very influenced by just fiction stories by a lot of different authors during that time that allowed me to just escape into these different characters and discover different parts of myself. Okay. So, yeah.
All right. Well, Alice Walker was one of the famous names.
Yes.
Color Purple. So
yes.
We'll give you that one. Ding, ding.
Okay,
ding,
for
ding,
the game.
So what are you reading now, right? Do you read other things? I mean, you write.
I do.
What are some of the things that you're reading now?
Well, right now I'm reading The Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. So it's like a sci-fi fiction, and the heroine in the story is a young black girl, and it's in like one of those apocalyptic near future type stories. But I jump around. Like I hadn't read anything fiction in like a year. I had been reading all personal development, spiritual books, and like memoirs for a while. I recently read Wild by Cheryl Strayed. I recently read The Seed of the Soul by Gary Zukov. That's like spiritual, law of attraction type stuff. I read, I'm all over the place. It just depends on
Your mood?
My mood.
Okay.
You know, and then sometimes I wear something out and then I just go in a completely opposite direction. I think that's why I jumped over to Octavia Butler. I needed to get away, you know.
So is there any one author? It sounds like you're not all over the place, but you got a wide range.
I do, and I always really appreciate memoirs and personal essays. So I love books of essays. Morgan Jerkins is somebody who more recently she wrote a book of essays that really inspired a project that I'm working on.
Okay.
That was the first time I had been able to see myself in a traditional publishing light, and that might be something you're going to ask me more about later when it comes to like the actual nitty-gritty of like writing as a profession.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's in a different segment where you're going to give us tips. You're going to just go
Absolutely.
at it. You're going to go
so
at
I'll save that up. But yeah, Morgan Jerkins is another one. Roxane Gay, amazing essayist. Esme
Gigi
Wang.
Renee.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes,
Amazing.
thank you. I will own that.
Okay. All right. So, do you, if you had a famous author that you would want to be a mentor, would that be Alice Walker?
Wow. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would definitely be honored and flabbergasted to be able to have a mentor like that. But also, just even nowadays, we just live in a time where you can connect with people, and people are more accessible to you.
Right.
So just even connecting with authors that I admire online and just getting feedback and having those kind of discussions online and getting that little bit of mentorship when they're willing to actually like correspond with you is
They give you
amazing.
some advice. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, you can find mentors like just with a little bit of effort, and I'm an introvert, so sometimes even just sending someone a message or leaving a comment feels like a lot to me, but it's actually helped a lot.
Okay, yeah. I think you did your first IG live.
Did I?
Not too long ago.
Yeah,
you did.
I did.
I told you I follow you.
Yes.
You think I make this? You can't make this stuff up. Yeah. Do you ever Google yourself?
Yeah. Well, actually, my kids Google me more than I do because to kids, at least to like small kids, she's 9 years old now. She's like, "Mommy, you're famous." Because when I Google you, all this stuff comes up.
Right.
So I was like, let's go see what's coming up. What's in her mom's name?
Oh, goodness.
But really, yeah, that's the only time I really do it.
Okay, you Google yourself. That's what's up. That's what's up. So you talked a lot about the writing. One thing, so this was a question from one of your fans. Do you hide any secrets in your books that only a few people will find?
That is such a good question. Yes, I do. And I think that's actually a technique that a lot of writers use when you're talking about certain things that you want to share, that you want to explore, but that affect another person. Sometimes you have to wrap it in a little bit of mystery so that you can share that concept or idea, story, whatever it is, without exposing someone that you might not want to expose specifically. So definitely.
I think for myself, as we correlate again the 6 elements and how this all kind of rolls up to me, right? Because you use writing as an outlet, to my understanding, right?
Absolutely.
All the many layers.
Yeah, like an onion. Like we're all just made of all these layers, right?
And we're going to talk about all many layers, right? .com, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important for folks to understand that. Do you think you found your purpose?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Well, we got to take another quick break, all right? We're going to come back on our next segment, which is the Rich Life Moment in Time.
Okay.
We'll talk about kind of some things when we met and all that good stuff.
Okay.
All right? So we'll be back, more Living a Rich Life talk show featuring Gigi Renee, only on BeExposedRadio.com. We'll be right back.
Are you thinking about getting your GED diploma? Well, here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a number of pep talks that can motivate you.
Sometimes things don't always turn out the way you want them to.
You know that feeling? People look at you and don't believe in you.
You want some gentle encouragement.
Then you're on your way to your GED diploma and a better life.
But I know they're probably just a little bit nervous.
You can find it in yourself to take that first step.
You can improve your future. You can do this. I know you can.
You need to start pushing yourself.
Now get your game face on and take the first step towards a better life. Hurry up! Don't make me repeat myself.
Whatever level of motivation you need to get your GED diploma, we've got a pep talk that's right for you. Call 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or visit yourged.org for your pep talk and find free GED classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Check out this snippet from the new season of Talk Lately with Monty about Jennifer Holliday.
Anyway, let's get back to...
Yeah, well, what I wanted to say is that I can understand 100% where Jennifer Holliday is coming from, and that's sort of kind of where my 20% came from. When I basically came out and said who I voted for, I received a lot of backlash. Even on my own talk show, which comes on every Monday from 5 to 7 p.m., I was called a coon. Okay, yeah, shout out for the plug. But yeah, someone actually, they told CJ Bernie that I was a coon, and that really hurt me. I've been called everything from a fat whatever and everything, but someone actually commented on his Facebook
I didn't even say that. That's kind of rough.
Called me a coon, but it's like I like you. It's crazy because I just feel like someone like Jennifer Holliday. I understand why she stepped down, but I'm kind of upset with her because I think she still should have performed. If you're going to jump out there, then stand in your truth. Don't let no one stop you or change your mind about anything. And listen, no one put a gun to her head and made her sign on for that. But it just seems like, she was basically, she was bullied.
But see, the thing about it is they will put a gun to her head to not do it.
I don't think so.
Well, that's what the threat says. You got to say it's why it's called a threat. You don't know the hypotheticals in there that could happen to you.
Why do you think
she's not a well-known singer, so she's not going around with security. Since she goes to get her tracks at the mall,
right?
Pow!
Right, but at the same time,
now we got a whole bunch of dead cats.
Yeah, but like what she said in the footage, today on The View was basically it's not white people who was threatening her. It was us who was threatening her.
Right. Where do you think she live? I think she live in Atlanta.
Exactly.
They gonna get her at the Ku Klux Klan mall and drag her by her hair. Her hair made a cat. She got the new weave.
I don't have Jennifer Holliday money, honey. I don't know what it might be because it's. I don't got Jennifer Holliday money, but. Me personally, I feel as though, like I said, once I kind of came out, and even being on this show, because I'm pretty sure the headline says Trump supporter, I'm putting a lot of myself out there. You know what I'm saying? So I get it.
Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com.
This is a Poverty ENT exclusive. Next stop, Texaco. Strapped up, you already know. Fuck niggas hate, that's how it goes. Bros with me, yeah, it's time to go.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back to Living a Rich Life talk show featuring the lovely and talented Gigi Renee. I'm still getting used to the Gigi Renee.
Right. You're doing good though.
So, thank you. So, this segment is called Living a Rich Life.
Okay.
Rich Life Moment in Time.
Okay.
Is where I like to get my guests to do a little something for me. You're lucky, no poems today. But what I do is, I have the infamous Living a Rich Life poster board.
Awesome.
All my guests sign this, because I'm big on memories.
Okay.
So if you would do me the honor
Absolutely.
of giving us your giving us your Gigi Renee.
Okay.
Anywhere you like. You can stand up, whatever you want to do. And get loose. So while you do that, we'll figure out what we're going to ask you next.
Okay.
So, good question is, do you read book reviews? Yeah?
Yeah. My book reviews, you mean, right?
Okay, yes. So how do you deal with bad ones or good ones? How do you deal with when you get those bad ones first.
I haven't. So I'm going to take it as book reviews, not just in the form of maybe on Amazon, but just even, so I haven't had any bad reviews on Amazon. So I don't know what that feels like yet to have that publicly out there, somebody disparaging or just, just depending.
Right.
I would like to think that if it was presented in a constructive way, that I would just take it like that. Okay. I have had, however, feedback in person from people. I did a book club one time, and one of the women in the book club just didn't get it. She was just like, I didn't get the book at all. But she wasn't disrespectful. We just had a conversation. So it was a new feeling. So I had to process it after, but I was like, that was cool. Like, it's really, I have to be open to that and also not allow that to distract me from my vision, because one thing that's really important as a creative, particularly as a writer, is to know who you're writing for.
Right.
You're not writing for everybody. Everybody doesn't have to get it.
This is true.
So it's okay. It's okay.
This is true.
Yeah.
Okay. And how did you come up with the titles for your books? Because this sunflower, which is my favorite flower. Yes, men can like flowers. How do you come up with the titles for your books? I mean,
that's such a good question, because even though I write essays, I'm kind of a poet at heart. So sometimes I want to come up with these very esoteric titles, not just to books, but to essays and everything else that have a lot of meaning for me. But you also want to attract who, like I said earlier, you want to know who you're writing for and you want to attract them.
Right.
So this book, Wallflower, is about the idea. It's for women who have felt like a wallflower maybe in their life, felt like they had huge parts of themselves that they were hiding or that weren't noticed or that they felt uncomfortable with. And that could show up as being shy and insecure. It could show up as like you're this outgoing, boisterous person, but you have this whole other side that you won't show.
Right.
So I felt like the title Wallflower reflected just this idea of coming out, coming off the wall, coming out of the shadows and shining and being who you are. Okay. Even if you are, like I am, sort of a naturally quiet, introverted person.
For the most part.
Or around people who don't, because you might be like, you're introverted and quiet, what? Because you know me.
Right, yeah. We met at Morgan.
Yes.
When Power Plant was rocking.
Yes.
In our younger days.
Yes.
And
it's like, I remember. Quiet. What?
I remember. And again, it's a process. You had your braids. I remember exactly. You had your braids back. Oh Lord, have mercy. But it was a good time. I said right there from there. I said, she all right. She is all right.
Yeah.
All right. So this is Wallflower. It says healing stories and creative inspiration for quiet women who want to be heard. This is very good.
Thank you.
That's Wallflower. Okay. So that explains how you came up with Wallflower.
Yes.
And again, y'all can get this on Amazon. And Beautiful Disruption, a soul story.
Right. The title for that one.
Yes.
Because that one is all about, I mentioned earlier, there was a point in my life in my late 20s where something just snapped. Not snapped like as in all of a sudden I had this revelation, but snapped in that like all of these little messages and signs I've been getting that something in my life needed to change. All of a sudden it just came, and sometimes it's something that happens, a reality check. It talks. You have to read the book to know what my reality check was. What was the trigger for me to sort of turn towards myself and start looking at myself for what I wanted in life instead of looking at everybody else to direct me as to what I should be doing with my life and how I should be applying my energy. It was something that happened, and it also ties into what you said about, do you hide things in your stories? Because in this book in particular, I call it autobiographical fiction because there's some composite things. It's fiction, but it's based on true stuff.
Okay.
And it's fiction in the sense that I composited situations and people to talk about things that I didn't want to get too specific and expose any particular person, right? So this was an example of what can happen to a woman when something happens in her life that shakes up her sense of reality and of herself and what happens.
And again, since this is the Rich Life Moment in Time moment, I'm going to see if you remember something.
Okay.
So, because we was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We hung out. We hung out a couple of times. And I knew you was going to, I remember you saying you would want to write Wow. You like to write.
You do?
I remember all that good stuff. The question is, do you remember?
Okay.
We went to Barnes & Noble.
Mm-hmm.
Right over
yes.
there.
And you bought me.
I brought you some writing books.
You did.
Remember that?
I do.
I said, she needs some motivation.
Yes.
And I bought that book.
You did. You bought me a journal.
Yeah. And guess what? Here we are. Yeah. Not to say I had something to do with that.
No, but you encouraged it.
I remember
you encouraged that. You were very supportive of that. I do remember that.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's why I said, you know what? We're going to get her on the show. I ain't seen you in a minute.
Cool. I love it.
Yes, Barnes & Noble. I remember that like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
She right. That's what I be telling folks.
I love that. I love that too because I just love the idea that like a plant. I like to think about the seeds that we plant, even in other people.
Yes.
And you just never know. You just kind of planted that seed and walked away from it. I'm just going to let you figure this out. Let life happen. And I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna watch it grow. I think that's beautiful.
And I did. Like I said, I follow you, and I was like, yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah,
that's what's up. Makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So okay, all right. So do you have any advice that you would give for the next generation of writers? What advice would you give them? Not so much tips in writing, because we're going to get there.
Not the specific techniques of people who just want to write.
Just want to write.
Okay.
Yeah. What would you say to them?
There's 2 levels to that. So I encourage everybody, whether you think of yourself as a writer or not, to make writing a part of your self-care process.
Absolutely.
Whether that's journaling every day, even if it's just at night or in the morning, just a brain dump. What's on your mind, and telling yourself that story, just getting it somewhere off your mind, because we walk around with so much on our minds.
Yeah, don't I know it?
And the act of just writing it down is immediate relief. Even if you can't fix everything, it's just a really healthy way to take care of yourself. And sometimes we don't know what we're thinking until we write it down. You know.
That's a good point. Right?
Yeah.
As we talk about, so I had to start writing things down. Comes to good health. That's where these 6 elements come from.
Okay,
right? So
writing those ideas down.
So financial freedom, I damn sure had to start writing stuff down, as well as just making better choices and decisions.
Yes.
When it comes to strong relationships, I had to write down names of folks who were impacted, again, when I was making some bad decisions, because I wanted to reach out to them. So I was writing stuff down.
Yep.
And just when you think about those elements and how so writing stuff down does help.
It helps you organize all of those feelings and all those things you need to do. So number 1, I never let anybody tell me, oh, I'm not a writer, and it doesn't matter. Writing can still be an amazing practice for you. And if you do want to, or sometimes in the process of doing that, you find out that, man, I'm learning a lot in life. I've picked up a lot of wisdom. Just like Richie, like you just said, I have these elements that just keep showing up. A lot of times writing, we notice patterns and themes.
Right.
I want to share these 6 elements of living a rich life with more people. Yeah. So to come up with a plan for all of this, I know there was some writing involved, writing down your ideas, getting organized, writing emails to people. So writing is going to show up in some way in you walking in your purpose. I feel like it's just going to show up, because even if you're just writing to organize your ideas, if you're writing because you've come up with things that you want to share with people on a blog or a book or whatever, it all starts with just getting those ideas down.
Yeah. Now, blog, you write books, write essays. You a blogger?
Yeah, that's what started all of it. Okay. I started writing in for myself, and very quickly realized that I wanted to. Yeah, I'm all done. Realized that I wanted to share some of the things that I was discovering about life and myself. So I started blogging, and I still have a blog part of my website, but it's not the type of blog that I used to do where I would post every day or 3 times a week and let me do this makeup review, and it's not really that type of blogging anymore. It's more about just sharing creative inspiration for people, sharing my journey, more like lifestyle as a writer, sharing my journey as a writer and as a creative. And I share my essays, that's me, that I post most of those on medium.com. So that's medium.com/Gigi Renee Writes. Okay. I've started sharing more fully fleshed out essays there as I'm trying to elevate my writing and get into more traditionally published
arenas,
opportunities. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. But the blog is where I just kind of day to day write the ups and downs of what all this is like.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Sounds exciting. Let's see what else some of your people asked. They all want to know what's next.
Okay.
I can tell you that. They all want to know what's next. So what's some of the things that you have happening? I know you're doing some other interviews. Tell us, what else is going on with you?
It's been a couple years of being uncertain about that. I think that, so my dad passed away in 2017, and 2016 I did a lot of work. I was discovering how much I liked facilitating workshops. So I spent a lot of time in 2016 doing workshops and traveling. 2017, my dad was sick. There was a lot of family things going on. So the last couple years, 2018 and 2019, has been getting myself emotionally healthy again, into a place where I said, what am I doing? Where do I want to go with all of this?
Okay.
I've been working on a manuscript for a couple years, and that is a huge passion project. It's about my mental health journey, and it also ties in with just the idea of purpose and how important those two, like I know so many women and so many people that are searching for purpose and fulfillment in life, but aren't taking care of themselves emotionally, aren't taking care of their mental health. So this book is my input on that and my journey on that. But at the same time, and I know we're going to talk more about this later, is like you have to keep it real. Like bills have to be paid. Like I can't just work on this manuscript.
Right.
You know.
Right,
I love my workshops. I set a goal to get out from behind the computer, where I've been very comfortable just doing my thing, and get out into the community and start working with nonprofits and doing all of that. But now I'm like, I want to work with more corporate clients and parlay my storytelling workshops in that corporate environment to also just add dimension, to what we do.
I think that's important, right? Because like you said, bills got to be paid, right?
Yeah.
That's why we have commercials in here. That's why we have sponsors, all that good
Absolutely.
stuff. And again, I was told that if you enjoy what you're doing and you're doing it with a purpose, the money will come. The money will come. And I haven't read the books, yet, but I will. The one thing, like I said, I had a couple of guests that came on. You talking about planting the seeds, and my good friend Dr. Eric Holmes, who was an inspiration. He has a book called Power of the Seed. And so when you said the seed and purpose, to me it's all these words full circle. Lets me know, one, that I got a pretty good circle now. I got a pretty good circle. At the end of the day, I have some phenomenal guests. People were telling me. So again, I want to thank you for joining.
Oh yeah, I love it.
As I said, I haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
I love the do.
Thank you.
I love the do.
Different.
Yes. Whoever's your photographer on your website. So wait a minute. So your website is
allthemanylayers.com.
allthemanylayers.com. All right. So make sure I checked it out. It's put together really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And my photographer, yes.
You did that yourself?
I did. Squarespace makes it really easy. And if you have some nice, and just clean, for anybody who wants to start a website, don't try to do too much. Just keep it clean. It just looks nicer, more professional that way. Let the work speak for itself.
Right.
And the photographer, her name is Tracy Lynn Photography. And she's in Philly, so she's amazing. Check her out.
Yeah, that was good. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna get into some more questions, and we're gonna get into some writing tips from Gigi Renee. So that sounds good?
Sounds good.
All right, so we'll be back. BeExposedRadio.com, Living a Rich Life talk show, featuring the one and only. We'll be back. Come back now.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This unknown to find who we really are. Crash into something new and take a break from our broken heart. Talk with the hip, tell me you lie. I think we should go for another round. Baby, try not to say too much. Let your love come down. If you wanna rule, it's some rules you gotta live by. Live by. Stay true to your cool, make a move, don't wait on nobody else. And if it feels like a melody, sing a song in my radio. And if you follow me there, I'll follow you back. Let the night unfold. I can tell that she can't get enough. Show enough, she couldn't get the feels off from me. I know she couldn't get the feels off from me. Touching hands till we dance in the dark. Show enough, she couldn't get the feels off from me. We do whatever we like. Get the feels off from me. I know she couldn't get the feels off from me. You and me alone to find who we really are. Crash into something new. I got ballet bringing up the car. Told me you kiss, told me you lie. I think we should go for another round. Baby, I wanna take you, but we gotta cruise so we can lose the crowd. If you wanna rule, there's some rules you gotta live by. Live by. Stay true to your cool, make a move, don't wait on nobody else. And if it feels like a melody, sing a song in my radio. And if you follow me there, I'll follow you back. Let the night unfold. I can tell that she can't get enough. Show enough, she couldn't get the feels off from me. I know she couldn't get the feels off from me. Touching hands till we dance in the dark. Show enough, she couldn't get the feels off from me. We do whatever we like. Get the feels off from me. I know she couldn't get the feels off from me.
Ruth Rusi. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live united. I say retired, but not really. Once a week, I read books to children as part of United Way's education program. Reading to a child creates links between language and literacy. It creates a bond between grown-up and child. And believe it or not, it prepares them for a better academic future. Oh, we read about frogs and flies and pigs with wings, all sorts of juicy stuff. It's a joy to watch all those little faces. I figure I have the time and they have the need. And I've always believed that if we're not here to help each other, then what are we here for really? My name is Ruth Rusi. I help kids prepare to succeed in school. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
My name is Meera Batra. I have been in this country 32 years, and this is how I live united. America has always been the land of promise, and in my community, many families have come for a better life. Coming from another culture myself, I know the desire to become part of a community, to feel at home, and to gain the tools for our children and families to succeed. So I advocate for these families with United Way. United Way empowers them to look beyond their histories and to see what opportunities are available. We help them get involved with their kids' schools, network within the community, and when we do, we unite them. We make the community stronger. What I do is something I wish someone had done for me, and I am so grateful I am able to. My name is Meera Batra. I help families see opportunities and succeed. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well, that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoption stories. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Your perfect pet is just a click away at theshelterpetproject.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Madison.
You're like an internal bleeder. Can't see your pain, but it can silently kill ya. So deeply wounded, but don't say a thing. Too afraid of what the people may say or think. So you just sit there and you suffer in silence. Your pride won't let you just uncover your secret. Don't wanna look weak in your image, it ain't worth losing. So you just act as if it's nothing happening. God sees you, and God hears you. Yes, God loves you. You're like an internal bleeder. Can't see your pain, but it can silently kill ya. Suicidal, depressed, but you won't say a thing. Too afraid of what the people may say or think. You feel alone even though the people surround you. Popping pills every night even though you know they can't solve it. The emotional pain, it just seems way too heavy. Your mind is racing, wanna scream, somebody help me. God sees you, and God hears you. Yes, God loves you. These type of people sit right under our noses. We don't find out till we're on IG scrolling. We post a few memes, but then it keeps on happening. Something's gotta change, we gotta start talking and telling the truth without the fear of judgment. Gotta come together and really start loving and heal these people cause they slowly dying. Help them believe that their life is worth living. God sees you, and God hears you. Yes, God loves you. I pray there's an end to this suicide demon. We losing people too soon, they cutting and bleeding. They think no one can.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to Living a Rich Life, featuring Gigi Renee. We having a good time?
Yes, I'm having a good time.
All right, that's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Let me get mic'd up again. I had to handle some business again. It's always non-stop in the land. All right, so we want to keep the interview going.
Okay.
And I think one of the things that we want to get into now is just from a writing perspective. We want to give the folks some tips when it comes to writing. So
okay.
I'm going to open the floor to you and just roll with it.
Okay. I think a couple easy tips are if you just want to get started with writing, particularly from my perspective, I'm always thinking about self-discovery writing to start, just getting your ideas out of your mind and onto the paper. Freestyle writing is the best place to start. And what that means is you just sit down with your writing utensil of choice, whether that's writing on a laptop, on your phone, if you like a pretty journal. A lot of women like to have a nice pretty journal to write with. Set your little timer on your phone, maybe just for 5 or 10 minutes. Or you could have a goal like, okay, I want to write 1 page or 2 pages or 3 pages, whatever. Either a time goal or a page goal, just to give yourself a framework. Just write down your stream of consciousness. Just literally write down the thoughts that are flowing through your head. If you can do that, you're already doing way better than a lot of people, because so many of us are so tight and filtered that we can't even write down our stream of consciousness and let our own selves see it.
Right.
Because it's so raw.
Yeah,
Right? And we want it to sound pretty, or we want it to sound socially acceptable, we want it to sound clever. Just write down what's on your mind. It's going to be really messy. It's going to be all over the place. Like, it's almost it is a meditative act to be able to sit and just write your thoughts down that way. And that'll do amazing things just for your peace of mind, for your sense of release, for your self-awareness. That's a great place to start.
Okay.
Now, if you want to, let's say you already do that. Let's say you journal and you're like, well, I'm having trouble. I have these great ideas and I'm starting to want to share these ideas, but I'm afraid of being judged. I don't want people to see what I really think or how I really express myself. My advice, my writing tip for that is to think about what you really, really care about, what you really have a voice for. For a lot of people, it could be what they have going on in their own life. Let's say you're a new mom and you're feeling alone in your journey. Right? Like, maybe you're not around people that you can talk to. Write about that and share it on your social. If you have social media, share it on your social media. Don't worry so much at the onset about technicalities like grammar, and people think, oh, I'm not a good writer, but you have thoughts and ideas that are so valuable, and you have stories that are so valuable that you just don't even know. Right now, more than ever, I think the world needs more transparency, vulnerability, personal stories.
Right.
Show your humanity. And I think writing is such a great way to do that. And so if you're feeling disconnected from meaning and purpose in your life, or you're just even feeling disconnected from people who are maybe going through something similar that you're going through, you can use writing to bridge that gap. But first, you just have to have the courage to say, hey, I'm dealing with this.
Right. Honesty within yourself.
Yes. It creates that avenue for self-honesty. And once you build that up, then you can start being more honest in your life and attracting more things that are on the vibe you want to be on.
Amen.
That
would be... I haven't even taken a writing class. And I know your stuff says it's just for women.
No, not at all.
Well, I would think, right? So I've seen a couple of your workshops. I don't see no men in there, but...
So can I comment on that?
Absolutely.
So I do create safe spaces for women. So I have most of my online workshops, my private online stuff is especially for women.
Geared towards women. Okay.
However, when I do workshops at the Writer Center in Bethesda, when I do them out and about in person, I welcome it could be men, women, and everything in between. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
That's for everybody. But I do have my online spaces. It's very intimate for women, yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So, because
I've gotten that question before.
Yeah. As you should.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the fact that I think, again, some of the stuff, the tips that you just mentioned, I kind of went through that process.
Yeah.
I'm still going through that process. And it has, I've been getting blessings on top of blessings, and I'm still fixing things because I'm still writing. So, okay. All right. So what else you have for us?
Some more writing tips. For those of you who are thinking, I've never been a good writer, I've never enjoyed writing, but I have these lessons and stories that I want to share. Listen, get you a voice memo recorder, a videotape, record yourself sharing the ideas and stories that you have to tell. You can always transcribe it later, right? So I've worked with entrepreneurs and people with ideas and businesses who don't think of themselves as great writers. I dabbled in some ghostwriting in those situations, and almost every time it's like, but you are you have a story to tell. So maybe shift the idea from limiting yourself based on what you think you can't do to the current of energy that you feel when you think of this lesson or story that you have to tell. However you need to get it out. And you can always record it and write it down later. I think practice, writing consistently. If you want to become a better writer or make it a more create less resistance in your efforts to write, you have to do it consistently. So start small, and just even if you say 5 minutes a day, like I said earlier, do that brain dump. Get what's on your mind off your mind. Use writing prompts, because sometimes the blank page can be very daunting, and you just feel like, I don't know what to say. Use writing prompts. I have a book that I unfortunately don't have with me today. My other book is a workbook. It's a self-discovery workbook, and it has ideas, writing exercises, and writing prompts. So that's really helpful for a lot of people who want to write, but they're just kind of intimidated by coming up with, doing that stream of consciousness thing that I told you. Use writing prompts, and that can just give you that little push that you need to start pulling out what's there.
So we're gonna push to a commercial. We'll be right back. More Living a Rich Life. Gigi, Renee, we're getting it in. We'll be right back. BeExposedRadio.com. Oh, okay, yeah, see.
Like, the one thing you always gotta remember is people gonna try to project their insecurities onto you. But you can't listen to what them niggas saying. You gotta get out here and do your shit regardless. You gonna do what you love for the rest of your life anyway. So why not turn that shit into something? Be a man of everything you say. This shit bigger than me, man. Like, yeah, I'm good and all that, but you know what I mean? I ain't shit without y'all. What you up against, go hard, don't matter. Can you imagine how I really having nothing is? Stomach growling, you ain't got no food in the fridge. Surviving on a jail diet of water and bread. No father figure, that's cause my father dead. Mom's bringing different niggas in and out the crib. No money, so you seen it's less than all your friends. But it a joke because your mother was a crackhead. Older sister hoeing off, giving all the homies head. I could wait for your response, but they let her hear me talk, so I'll just wait for the applause. I always knew that I was great, I got them haters so appalled. I'ma make it out the darkness, and my word is my bond. Delivering these bars while I'm gripping on my balls. Jealous niggas hate to see you succeed, so fuck them all. I'm the master of my destiny, nigga, you not in charge. You either on your grind or in the way, so get lost. Be a man of everything you say you stand for. Lead your people by example, being hands-on. If you're back against the wall, to get your mash on. Fix your vision on the future like it's fast forward. The world is yours in due time, ain't gotta ask for it. I'm from the school of hard knocks, I took a crash course. Shit be stressful, my nigga, that's why I'm getting high. But that's life, and it's the code that I live by. And you know how it is, where we at, nigga. They say money can't buy happiness, but I be happy as a bitch when I can have dinner. Learn from your losses or you end up like the last nigga. I fall off, I bounce back, I really come from the dirt. But if you wanna make it happen, gotta put in the work. The word will kick you when you down, and I know this shit hurt. And it's crazy cause your family, your shit on you first. My sister stabbed me in my chest, I had a hole in my shirt. I never said a prayer for her on my way to the hurt. I died twice that night, man, I'm just happy to be here. And shit like that is the reason I never be scared. Was drifting through the smoke in the field, I couldn't see clear. It's deeper than the rap, I'm where the bottom of the sea is. Just trying to make it happen till I happen to ball. It's all mind over matter, the fuck the matter with y'all, huh? Be a man of everything you say you stand for. Lead your people by example, being hands-on. If you're back against the wall, to get your mash on. Fix your vision on the future like it's fast forward. The world is yours in due time, ain't gotta ask for it. I'm from the school of hard knocks, I took a crash course. Shit be stressful, my nigga, that's why I'm getting high. But that's life, and it's the code that I live by.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back to Living a Rich Life Talk Show. We're going to continue with some tips in writing.
Okay.
But we have another game that we like to play.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to loosen it up. We got a little serious there. We got serious on the break. I was sharing some stuff with. Because again, like I tell you, our offline conversations on this talk show are pretty good. So this game is called Either Or.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question, or more so I'm going to give you an option.
Okay.
You know, multiple choice.
I'm terrible at this game. My kids play this game with me, and I'm never a black and white person. I'm always in the middle, like, well, do I have to choose? So this should be interesting.
Okay, all right. So, and again, this came up from some of your fans.
Okay.
Right? So this is a good thing. All right, so tea or coffee?
Coffee, but I'm a wannabe tea drinker. But coffee.
Okay, coffee. All right.
Yeah.
Hot or cold?
I'd rather be hot, so therefore, yes, hot.
Hot?
Yes.
Okay. Coffee, hot. You might see a pattern. Movie or book?
Ooh, book.
Book?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I love movies and books, but I would, if I had to choose, I would choose books.
Okay. Here's one that I never could answer. Coke or Pepsi?
I like Coke a little better than Pepsi.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't see. I would be like, well, I don't even drink soda.
I don't.
Right.
I don't really
figured
drink
that's
either
much.
of them,
Right.
but
Yeah. Okay. All right. This is a funny one here. Toilet paper, over or under?
Over, but I never notice. Like
never
when I put the
notice?
toilet paper on the thing, I don't pay attention to that.
Oh, what was that movie? I think it was Soul Food.
Well, oh yeah.
You know,
Some people it's a very big deal.
they ain't like that. Okay. Morning person or night owl?
Oh, I used to be a night owl, but I'm becoming a morning person
Okay.
as I get older.
Is that for more time to write? Or
Yes, it's quiet in the
it's quiet in the
morning,
morning?
and at night when it's quiet, sleep because I'm always asleep. I can't hang like I used to.
One thing I talked about with the previous guest was naps. Right?
Yeah.
I take naps.
That's good.
I take
that
naps.
probably helps you a lot.
Yeah, because folks be like, yo, how you still going? And I keep
Power
my
naps.
signature. I
So
take a nap.
what kind of nap? Like what are we talking? An hour?
I'm talking a nap.
2
right?
hours?
So I say maybe an hour, 2 hours. I can't go too long.
Right.
Because then I don't want to get up.
Yeah,
I'll be like, oh, I'll be all right. And that's the beauty about where I'm at right now in my life. Because I'm okay with staying home.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Oh, that's the best.
I'm okay versus,
Yeah.
I gotta get up. No, you know what? It's all right. I ain't missing nothing.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good right here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it going.
Okay.
Shower or bath?
Shower.
Okay. That's probably because you don't even bathe. No, I'm just playing. City or country?
That's one of those ones where I want to be in the middle. Like, yeah, like I'm not I kind of live in the country now, but I'm not far from the city.
Oh, okay.
You know, like there's like sometimes I come out and there's
Suburbs.
deer. Like, yeah.
Oh, well, see, there's deer.
It's country-ish. It's suburbs, but it's country-ish suburbs. And I like that, but I can be in the city in a little bit of time.
Just like that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll give you that one. That hybrid joint.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Social media or book?
Book.
Book. She said that. Speaking of social media, how can folks, because we didn't share that information, how can they?
On all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything, I'm at Gigi Renee Writes,
Okay.
WRITES, but I'm most active probably out of everything on Instagram.
Instagram. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we got that. I didn't know people still use Twitter. Do you use
I don't use it too much.
Snapchat?
I don't use Snapchat. No, only to stalk my children.
Yeah, one of my very first guests, Jason Bass, great guy.
Yeah.
He called it Snaprat. Snaprat. I don't know. All right. So we're gonna make it a little difficult this time again.
Okay.
Paperback or ebook?
Paperback, because I like the feel, the smell, everything, the font, the page. I love
all that good
books.
stuff that
Yes.
makes it a book, right? Versus
Yes.
having some electronic. You know,
Yeah.
electronic, you can do the laptop. You know,
they come in handy for flights and trips and things like that sometimes, but I prefer. I'm a book reader and I'm a book collector.
Okay.
Remember I told you my mom had the bookshelf with all the my goal is to have like a whole wall of books in my house.
We're going to talk more about this wallflower too, because I'm looking at some of the titles.
Okay.
This is this is going to be my first one that I get, because this is, where you lose yourself. More than they can see. Oh man, sweet solitude. This is some, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Peace. I think we're gonna have her read this one. This is a short one. Would you do the honors
Sure,
and read one for us?
sure.
All right, let's finish our game first.
Okay,
All right.
all right.
We'll finish the game first. Sweet. Okay. Netflix or a movie theater? Yeah.
That is tough.
This was
Because I love being in my house with my snacks and my blankets and all of that. But for like a movie I really want to see, I love the experience of seeing the movies. I would have to say though, for most of the time, I'm a homebody and I like Netflix.
So you Netflix? Okay.
Most of the time.
See, you come to the movies with me and my mother, we'll bring our own goodies.
Right, all right, of course.
So that's easy. That's easy. Sure. My mother's retired law enforcement, sneaking food into there. Love you, Ma. I love you. Okay, all right. Are you lactose intolerant? Yes or no?
I always thought I was. I recently got tested and confirmed I am not. However, I do, like, as I'm striving to live a healthier life, I don't really partake in too much dairy. Because even though the doctors say I'm not technically lactose intolerant, I find that dairy has negative effects on how I feel. So I don't mess with it too much.
Yeah, okay. I think I got that from one of your people too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I say, hey, either or. What you want to know? What you
Yeah.
want to know? A lot of folks came back with the morning person and night owl. That's why I kind of followed up with the writing. When do you do that writing?
Oh,
okay. Yeah. And then our last one is car radio. On or off?
I always have something on. Music or a book or some type of
e-books where you can drive.
Yeah, something like that. Or I listen to a lot of inspirational stuff, sermons, TED Talks, things like that in the car too.
Okay, all right. So, well, thank you for playing.
Of course, I love it.
Yes,
It's fun. You ask better ones than my kids do. It'll be like, do you want a mud pie or a worm sandwich?
Well, I would like to think so. I'm a little older. I don't think your audience or the audience would be too crazy.
It's nice to be with adults.
Right? Yeah, you know, shoot. Let my daughter tell you, my little Ava tell you. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
We're going to come back. We're going to talk a little more.
Okay.
Ask a little more, dig a little deeper. Because I want to talk about this since this is going to be my first one.
Yep.
Wallflower.
Yep.
Amazon.com.
Amazon, yep. Put in Gigi Renee Hill and all my books will come up.
And she's going to read a piece for us. So we'll be right back. Living a Rich Life talk show featuring Gigi Renee. We'll be right back. BeExposedRadio.com. Yes. I'm sorry.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing.
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com.
I was meeting with a friend yesterday, and I've gotten to the point where don't ask me a question because the truth is going to come out.
Exactly.
Just don't do it.
If you ain't looking for the truth, don't come to me.
Don't do it because I can't hold my tongue. And she wants to be this stylist, boutique, but you're not doing anything in that nature. And I can't take you seriously if you're not doing those things. And I understood why people didn't take me seriously because I found myself in somebody else's lane. I was good at what I was doing and what I wanted to be, but I wasn't doing it for me. So how can I ask you to take me seriously if I'm living in somebody else's shoes?
And nobody can do what you do. And I think that that's a big problem that people face now. Like, you see what somebody else is doing and you want to do that when that's not your lane.
That's not your lane.
That's not what you're supposed to be doing.
But it's popular. It's getting that person money. It's getting that person applause. Oh, I want applause. I want money. Let me stand over here behind them.
And then a lot of times people aren't honest with themselves either. Like, I was thinking earlier today, I've been woke for almost 2 days, so so you get honesty, yes. And I was thinking, like, you know,
The Artist Exchange Radio Show.
First they love you, then desert you. Leave with a plate full with no spoon. Ain't no space, I can't escape negativity. I got used to the taste of it, bad, burned and fucked over. But remain strong through the past over. Kicking haters out of the way like masked over. Roll up, sip something, let it pass over. Who would I be? It ain't the man to me to let the next man take advantage of me. When that storm come, no pan I see. Get with it, not without it, then you'll see. I peep the haters, they know I'm greater. That's why they buzzing for the elevator. But I can't save you, the weed too loud on the pedal stool. Don't carry favors, always got your hand out demanding favors. When I just looked out, now you need more paper. I can't breathe, give me 3 feet. I never let y'all be the death of me. When my patients run that, yeah, nigga OT. Cause they wanna see me down like I'm an CT. 6 words, get the fuck away from me. Say I help you out if you can help yourself. I keep it G till I DIE. Now excuse me while I get back to PC. HOP ain't music sleep. While your third eye always on me. I'm stacking green just to feed the team. My boo, she know that I'm king when chasing my dream. These niggas it seems I rip them, trash them, then put on new jeans. Man, see the problem is, man, you know, I keep it 100, man. Yeah, man, like if I got it, then you got it. Yeah, man, but if I don't got it.
I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is. Because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Take a minute and listen to this flashback of the It Is What It Is radio show.
Viral. Make sure y'all share us. So,
please.
Miss Entice.
All right,
Miss
I got
Vicious.
Okay.
Vicious.
Favorite place to have sex outside the bedroom?
Anywhere.
Oh, that's not an answer.
That's not an answer?
Specific. Outside of the bedroom.
You mean where have I?
No. Like where is the spot you like to have sex outside of the bedroom?
I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not a forest fucker, so I'd rather be in behind closed doors, but I've had sex.
I mean,
outside.
you still can keep it, under the roof. I'm just saying outside of the bedroom. Yeah, outside of the bed, like not in the bed.
Living room.
Oh, okay.
Living room.
What about the living room?
The couch.
Okay, what position?
Then from the couch, you can roll onto in my case, I had carpet, so you can move from the couch to the floor. Then if you really want to get creative, you could go over to the sink and the kitchen and the aisle.
Okay. So what kind of carpet was it? Was it the plush kind? Was it the Stainmaster?
It was
Chinchilla.
Plush. It was plush.
It was the plush.
But I got one of them other mats over, like a little area rug.
So it's nice and cushiony.
It was cushiony.
Oh.
Easy on the rug burns.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Now you did mention the kitchen.
Turn this up.
You did mention the kitchen. Now, are we opening the fridge? Have you gotten creative with ingredients? Shall we say?
One time I was like,
you mean as far as
have you
props?
Or would you? If not,
you gonna leave me hang?
You mean props? Props like far as whipped cream and all that? No, I don't need it. I don't need it. But I mean, I've done it.
Oh, see, there we go. Like that. If you haven't, or have you?
I don't like sticky stuff. I don't. Okay. I've done it, but I don't like it.
Can I jump in? Can I check in? What's your favorite condiment to use?
My tongue.
Sir, you cannot shake that on the salad or the eggs.
No, let's stop.
Wait a minute, time out. No. Speaking of salad.
Okay.
No.
Not sight, but we'll go ahead.
Am I about to answer the last question? Am I prepared for this new?
I was
interception. Interception. Well, go ahead.
What's your favorite condiment before you go to the interception?
I don't really have a favorite condiment.
Join us every Friday at 9 p.m. for It Is What It Is radio show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
was the one for me. Ever since then, we been vibing on some chemistry. It's just a matter of time. I know she feeling my vibe. I got the keys to the ride. She put her hands on my thigh. She got that look in her eye. SL what I'm riding. Royalty, call me highness. All day and overnighted. Cause it's crunch time when I'm grinding. This Adderall got me nauseous. Proceed with caution.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back once again, featuring the lovely and talented author, writer, blogger, Gigi Renee.
Hello.
That smile. The smile has never changed. Never changed so long ago. So we were talking before the break about the wallflower, because again, like I said, this is my favorite flower. And I found something. I just find the titles of your the book. Again, I like the formats. It's not the typical table of contents.
Yeah, it's different.
Oh, go to page 3. It's a little different. You know, some of the titles, you know, Peace, From a Distance, Inside Out. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
You know, Pointing Fingers. This is gonna, The Weather. You know, some of this stuff is just, it's so good. So if you would be so kind to read us a small section.
And what I would love to share,
yes, absolutely,
is the format of the book. On the back it says healing stories and creative inspiration for quiet women who want to be heard. And I just want to put it out there. We were talking a little bit about writing tips, and for anybody who wants to start writing, I never thought of myself as a storyteller, really. I thought of storytellers as pastors and teachers, maybe actors, people who were very demonstrative and told these stories that took you on this journey and just captivated and kept you on the edge of your seat. I've never thought of myself that way. However, what I've learned through writing and just allowing myself to be creative is that we all have a story.
Yes.
And your style and how you choose to tell your stories, it's like the possibilities are endless.
Right. Okay.
And we just limit ourselves when we think, well, I don't tell my stories like that, or I haven't lived this type of life, so therefore my story doesn't matter. Most of the time our stories we bury them because we think that people are going to judge us for our stories.
Yeah.
So,
well, people will.
Yeah, they will.
The ones that
we think
matter,
that we need to let it stop us.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. That's what they would hope, because for whatever reason, they want you to be stuck. So again, living a rich life is all about change, the possibilities of change and changing.
Absolutely.
Reset, readjusting as many times as you need to. Write it out. That's all a part of it. But we, no matter what, we're not in the perfect world.
Right.
Some folks want you to be stuck because it makes them feel better about themselves.
It does. And they're stuck in their own limitations. And when you show that you're not, it makes them uncomfortable.
Right.
So that's never going to go away.
Right.
So you might as well find your own process and fall in love with that process.
Right.
Don't just focus on results. I think you said that earlier as well. If you do what you love and you genuinely are aligned with it, the money will come. If you fixate on the results, you might get some positive results, but you'll get better results if you really fall in love with the process. Yeah. So my process for these 2 books in particular was to tap into the mind of women. That part of them that often feels suppressed, unseen, unheard, unacceptable, unwanted, too sensitive, too emotional, right?
So you see, I got a question, right?
Yeah, I see it forming.
So with that being said, right, because at first I was like, well, you wrote this for women. I think men probably could get a lot out of this also.
Absolutely, especially if you are the type of man who has suppressed. Anybody, not just women. I often write with women in mind.
Right.
But I have male followers and readers who tell me that they resonate with the work just as much, because so many men, and that's a whole other topic, are discouraged from being in touch with their emotions, are discouraged from being too sensitive, from being too in tune with their natural creative selves, if it doesn't fall in line with this sort of macho, type of
bravado.
Yeah.
Okay.
So really, it's for anyone who has that part of themselves that's been suppressed. So when I created this, I looked at different stories that I had inside of me when it comes to that journey from basically being suppressed to being fully expressed, if I were to just summarize it like that.
Nice.
And some of the anecdotal things that happened during that time that capture that shift, and also just some of that stream of consciousness that I mentioned earlier. I said I'm a poet at heart, so there's like little poems and little stories.
Okay.
So the whole thing is made up of these little poems and these little stories, and it all culminates in this whole idea of like, okay, you've just basically watched this soul,
right,
doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman,
okay,
evolve through these stories and these poetry to this other place.
So read it like you reading to the kids.
Okay. Peace. To the ones you loved who didn't love you back. To the hearts you broke when yours was broken. To the possibilities that turned into regrets. To the question you were, to the answer you are becoming. Let it all be growth. Let it all be peace. And this came from the idea of...
I was at peace.
You were at peace while I was reading that?
Yeah,
well, this came from the idea of wanting to let go of... Basically, leading up to that point, that I share a lot of things that were confusing and unsettling for me. And this is just a transition into new stories where I just decided to make peace with all of that. Let go of the people who I loved who didn't love me back. The people that I hurt when I was hurting. And just, we have to at some point let all of that go.
Okay.
And not
Let me see what else we can find in here. That was a good one.
Thank you.
That was a good one. From a distance, you mess around with me, I'll find a nice long one. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, playing along. Would you mind reading one more for us?
Sure.
Okay. Do you do this stuff at your workshops? And what do you do at your workshops?
Well, they're all different. They all have different topics, but this is a book that I reference in one particular workshop. It's called The Story of You.
Okay.
Because many people will come up and say, I want to write my stories too, or I want to self-publish a book, or I want to do this, and I have all these stories and I don't know how to organize them. So what I did was I created a process around how I created this book, how I outlined it, how I laid it all out, and I created a workshop from it. So in that workshop, I passed this book around as an example of how you can come up with all these seemingly disjointed stories, poems, whatever you have, and put them together based on themes and make it flow in like a story type of way.
And I've seen this. So again, all the many layers.
allthemanylayers.com.
Because I've seen that on your website.
The Story of You.
Yes.
And you go to allthemanylayers.com/workshops. That's where I keep that page updated with everything that I'm currently offering. So I'm actually teaching The Story of You at the Writers Center in Bethesda this Saturday.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's the type of stuff we want to make sure that the audience knows.
Yes.
Right?
That is this Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. And I do quarterly workshops there.
So normal cases, when we have a large crowd, you get a book, you get a book, you get a book, right? Oh, goodness. Oh, Lord.
You want me to read this?
Give us a little tidbit.
Okay.
Give us a little tidbit. I like how it sounds. It's nice. I'm enjoying myself. Playing along.
People have always had a distracting effect on me. When I was a little girl, I stared at faces and bodies, looking strangers up and down, intrigued by human nature and how people express themselves. Wide-eyed, I studied the world like I was looking for clues. Is that family over there as normal as they seem? Does that woman have angry voices in her head that tell her awful things? Are there happy people and sad people, or are we all a bit of both? At a young age, I resolved that appearances were important and should be perfected, while authentic feelings, especially troubles, were best kept private. I didn't set out to become someone that I'm not, but I committed to an image, a version of myself to cling to because everyone else seemed to have one.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
And this was...
playing along.
Yeah, playing along. This was just speaking to the mask, the representative that many of us in adulthood take on to present ourselves in situations where we don't feel comfortable to be ourselves, or we feel we're too tuned into what people think, so we feel like we have to wear a different mask in different situations and present ourselves a certain way and have it all together and just look polished all the time.
I have to say, because outside looking in, very few people know my story, my stories. And I won't be so quick to share with everyone, but at the end of the day, I'll tell my story, and you can say what you want about me.
Yeah.
Right? It's my story. So you think by saying, hey, this about Rich James is gonna affect me, it's really not, because yes, stuff happens, right? I own up. I'm accountable for my own stuff. So
important.
You know, but you know that's
so important. And can I just add that,
you
like,
can add anything you want.
Storytelling is not just about, like, because you made me think of it when you said many people don't know your stories, but you share the wisdom from your stories and how you live your life.
Right.
And I think that people miss that. Like, oh, if you're not a writer, or you don't want to have this YouTube channel or podcast where you share all your business, like, that's not everybody's path, right?
Right.
But you might say, man, like, I went through this difficult experience, or I went through I fulfilled this dream that I had, and I want to share and give back.
Right.
You don't have to do it in the way somebody else does it.
Yeah.
You can share that wisdom and those life lessons that you've learned by mentoring somebody, or by, creating an environment where people who have that similar thing can thrive. Like, it's just endless ways you can use it.
As you do. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So let's keep it going.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going. What would you say is your most interesting writing quirk?
Oh,
Right?
I can't have any sound. Like, I can have white noise.
Okay.
So my partner would often say, he would say, so you didn't get any writing done? I would say, oh man, like, I had 4 hours to write today, I didn't get anything done. Well, why not? Because the kids was just, they're noisy, or but they're in the other room. I can hear it. I can hear. I have to put my AirPods on, and I put on classical, either anything instrumental. It could be classical music, it could be like any type of reggae instrumental.
No singing.
I have to have some type of wordless noise or sound to really get in my zone.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, I have my little things before the show also.
Like rituals that you do?
Kind of, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah. I won't disturb y'all with.
We might want to know. We might be curious.
Yeah, right. You don't want to know. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Hey, like, just clean everything out.
I gotta go to the bathroom. And I keep saying, no matter what, and I'm pretty in tune with, I roll. Everyone says, the show's been great.
Yeah.
I still get nervous.
Sure,
I still get nervous. And someone
because
said
you care
to me,
about it.
And that's what they said. They said, if you're not nervous, then you don't care about it. I want to make sure everything's right. I got to make sure my hair look good.
Right.
My waves is popping.
Waves always gotta be popping.
Oh, you sound like
that changed a bit.
He's always gonna be popping.
He's always talking about his waves.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So how did you feel when you published your first book? Because again, you're self-published.
Right.
So that's key. I don't think we mentioned that.
That is key. Yeah. I self-published all the books I have so far, and the project I mentioned earlier that I'm working on is my first project that I'm pitching to be traditionally published, and getting an agent and all of that. But how I felt when I published my first one, I felt like I had fulfilled a dream that I'd had in such an easy way. It was a great catalyst for me, in the sense that I was like, a few months of focus, and I turned these feelings and ideas into this tangible thing that I can share with people. So it was very empowering to do it. It was also terrifying, because I felt like, I often say, I felt like I had published like a naked picture of myself and put it online, because essentially that's what I had done. I turned myself inside out and shared myself in ways that I never had before. But I know that for what I wanted to do and how I wanted my life to feel and the things I wanted to do, that I had to get used to that feeling. Right.
So you're feeling good?
I still have vulnerability hangovers. Where I share a vulnerable essay or something new, or just do something that stretches me, and then that's where self-care comes in. Because you do feel a little bit exhausted and depleted after that. And you just have to take care of yourself and build yourself up. It's all part of that stretching and growing process.
It is. The one reward that I have to say is, I got to see you after such a long time. And week in and week out, because I'm like, okay, well, I got to do this. Because folks don't see the work. They don't see the work that goes into it. They don't see the work that went into this.
Oh my goodness, yes.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm just like, this is this cover is banging. I'm looking at this is good. I'm like, when the next one coming out, right? You know what I mean? I'm not thinking about the time, the energy, some of the sacrifice, you know. And
the learning, the things you have to teach yourself.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, see, so folks don't understand that. So I feel that for me, being able to connect with some folks, some great people, and I'm establishing those strong relationships. You know, it's like a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk every day. You know, I think every once in a while I might hit you up on Instagram or whatever, but just seeing you is like,
yeah, and it's just all the same, and that positive energy never changes. And you're always cheering for people, and I find that when you do these kind of things, like this project you're working on is so amazing, it creates an increase in momentum for both people involved, right? Because you're picking up on that positive energy from each other. The people watching are picking up on the positive energy, and it's just like a ripple effect.
Ripple, domino.
Yeah, domino. Yeah,
I got some dominoes.
I don't really know how to play.
You ever play
I've never
spades?
actually. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
But I never played dominoes. I was around the dominoes games, but I never played.
Never played.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think would probably surprise most people about you, and why?
I mean, even though my writing is very emotional, I think it would surprise people how emotional I am in real life. Like, I cry every day. I'm a very emotional person. Like, it could, but not, I don't mean in a sad way.
Right.
It could be for that reason.
Right.
I cry over very simple, happy things, simple moments that I just treasure. I seem very calm and cheerful all the time. And really, I'm just like a very intense person.
Okay.
So I think that would surprise many people who don't know me that well and just think, oh, you always just seem so like easygoing.
Yeah.
And that is part of me. That's not fake.
Right.
But there's just also this, it's like I compare it to, and this is not my metaphor, I wish it was, I read it somewhere, but the ocean, how on top, it's like, you know, you see the waves and you see everything going on, but what's going on below is very like still and intense and
similar
you know?
metaphor. So like a duck. Ducks they real slow, they're real moving, but they working them feet. Boy,
that's perfect. That's how I am.
Things is working.
Yes.
They working.
Yes.
Okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
That is all right. You all right? I don't care what they say when you're not around. Okay. So let's do. There's one question that came from your audience. Okay. So if you could ask one successful author 3 questions about their writing, writing process or books, what would they be? 3 questions. Any 3 questions that you would ask a successful writer about their writing, whether it's their writing process or their books. You know, I don't know. Maybe like Alice Walker. Why did you choose those characters? Why did you choose Celie?
Right. I would ask every author that I really admire, I would want to know tell me about the moment when you knew that writing was something that you felt called to do. Recently, I didn't know this before, but recently when Toni Morrison passed, learning that she didn't publish her first book or I don't know if she published it or started writing it at 39. I never knew that. And I was like, wow, this amazing, iconic writer didn't start until she was 39 years old. I would love to know just to have an intimate conversation with her about what that
looked like.
Finding that calling at that point in her life. Also, on a more day-to-day, just like advice, I'm always asking writers about their process and what tools they use to stay inspired. And it's not about always having the inspiration. That was a luxury that came when writing was a hobby. When you do it for a living, you can't just write when you feel inspired. Right? So a lot of it is managing emotions. So I would want to know, how do you manage your emotions? Let's say you just had a fight with your husband. This is your writing time. You got a deadline. How do you step away from that fight or that problem or just whatever's pulling your emotions in another direction? Because that's something that I am learning to manage better.
Okay.
Is reining my emotions in and channeling it when it's time to sit down and work. You know, working from home, that's a whole other topic.
That it is.
Has those challenges that, you know, you're not able to separate from all of the dynamics at home and go into this space and just focus on work. I have all this energy and dynamic around me. So just some disciplinary, you know, things like how do you get the job done when you still have your whole other life you're living and things like that.
Okay. Favorite quote? Do you have a favorite quote?
I have a lot of favorite quotes.
One
of them is if you and I hope I'm not wrong. I think it's Toni Morrison who said, "If you surrender to the wind, you can ride it." And that has been pivotal. It's always been a favorite quote of mine, and it's been significant to me lately because I feel like in this year, I'm surrendering to the wind.
Okay.
Right, instead of fighting against it, and trying to control everything, and you know how they say you got to let go and let God, but we want to pray and say we have faith and all of that, but we don't really want to let go.
Yeah, I have to say my thing now is for a long time I was following Rich James' plan.
Yes, I've
come to realize Rich James' plan, to be quite frank, it does not work. By that, I was, again, making some bad decisions. I was doing what I wanted to do. It didn't matter, from being somewhere I had no business being to parking my car, not feeding the meter.
Yeah, just knowing better, doing it anyway.
Yeah. So, okay, I follow God's plan, and it's working.
It does.
It's working. I gotta say that. It's definitely working.
It really does work, but it's just making that decision to shift your mind to, I don't have to be in control to feel safe.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's see what we got here, because your people just hit with a lot of questions.
Oh, that's cool.
What are some of your hobbies? So outside of writing.
Okay.
Give us some hobbies. What else? Can you roller skate?
I can roller skate really good. I'm a really good roller skater because when I was little, I worked. My uncle had owned a really popular roller skating rink in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And I worked there on Saturdays. I was a skate girl. And I learned how to skate really good. So I'm a great roller skater. I love to dance. Unfortunately, I don't dance as much as I really would like to make time to. But I love to dance. It's a major hobby, outlet, release for me. I love any type of artistic adventure, whether it's going to museums, going to bookstores, going to festivals.
Okay.
I just love to be surrounded by art. I love performance art.
Okay. Live music?
Yes, live music. Yes.
Spoken words?
Spoken word, open mics.
Okay.
Like, that part of me that looks forward 5 years and has a vision for what my life will be like when I don't have to worry about babysitters and things like that so much anymore. I can see my weekends, right? Just full of those kind of activities. Yeah.
Because your youngest one is how old?
She's 9.
She's 9.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm getting there.
Almost.
I am getting there. Yes.
Okay. What else is Gigi?
Hobbies.
Like
I'm learning how to be a better cook, a healthier cook. And that came from...
that's two different things now, right?
Being better and healthier. I'm working on both. I'm working on both because I'm learning how to cook more food from scratch.
Okay.
And to just see it as another creative outlet, right? Okay. And trying to be healthier in general. That means, okay, so what am I doing in my own kitchen? How am I? And just getting over some blocks I used to have, like I can't, I used to do my little basic thing. So I'm just exploring all of that. I'm getting more into gardening and things, just wanting to grow things and find different parts of myself that I just felt like I never had time for before because I was always like had to go. And now I'm more about cultivating my environment. Okay. So I have a lot of hobbies in that area.
Okay. All right. Looking over here. All right. So because I can talk a dog off a meat wagon. We can keep it. That's why it's a talk show.
That's why you're so good at this.
That's why it's a talk show. You're the writer. I'm the talker. Right? And then we put it together and become doers. So we're going to take a quick break. More Living a Rich Life talk show featuring Gigi Renee here on BeExposedRadio.com. We got a few more minutes. Come back, so join us. We'll be right back.
we're rewarding you for something you already do, listening to us. It's Radio Loyalty, and it's an easy way for you to get free stuff. All you do is sign up. Go ahead and click the banner now. You'll earn points as you listen. Points you can trade in for great products and services in the Radio Loyalty store. You can earn even more points when you share your favorite station with friends on Facebook and Twitter. Radio Loyalty. It's free to sign up, so click the banner to join now.
Be Exposed Radio.
Well, if you made them, take care of them.
Yeah, that's
period.
The real.
You right.
That's the real deal.
It's period.
Right. And all that old money shouldn't go toward this, money should go to. If the child is with one of the parents 24/7, 7 days a week, you don't even come get your child every day. You come get your child once a month maybe, or once every 3 months.
Right.
You cannot dictate where that money goes, especially if the child ain't calling you about nothing. Now, if the child calling you every week, then you can question about where the child support is going. But if every time you pick up the child, they look nice, they ain't complaining about nothing, why are you worrying about where the money go at?
It is what it is. Radio show.
Whatever happened to the times when we cared for one another? We shared the same respect. What is happening? We're trading what's important for shiny things. I can't allow this blasphemy. It's blasphemy. Why would you treat yourself like that? We didn't come this far just to fall right back. Don't lose yourself, stay on track. Baby, you're a god. Baby, you're a god. Believe that. Full of the things that we've overcome. Full of unspoken.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
I keep it real. All right. Oh, goodness, you're so crazy.
That's you.
We are back. We are back here. BeExposedRadio.com, Living a Rich Life talk show featuring the talented Gigi Renee. We're just having a good time. This has been a good 2 hours. I've enjoying our conversation. This is our last segment. And again, so I will definitely be purchasing the books. Then I'm going to come and I would like you to sign it like you know me.
Oh, of course.
And, I'm looking to some of these workshops.
Yeah, you can come.
And I definitely, not your private ones for ladies only, but I'm definitely, this wallflower, I'm looking to,
the local ones, tell your friends.
Absolutely. I got a couple of folks too those might be good gifts. And even gifts that you say, hey, right?
Yeah, you can get the author's signature.
Everybody works out.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Cha-ching.
Let's do it.
Okay. So I got 3 questions that I generally like to ask, and then we'll save the last one. So do you believe in writer's block?
No. I believe that there is a resistance that we often feel, and it's not just writers, it's creators.
Okay.
When we're not willing to surrender to what's inside of us that wants to come out. It's not that there's nothing there. Because I've had people say that to me, like, there's nothing there, I try to write, there's nothing there. It's not that there's nothing there, you're just not accepting what's there. So it can be challenging. The only time I believe in writer's block is I know what it feels like to have a specific assignment and a deadline, and it's not your chosen thing that you want to focus on, and maybe your heart is over here like, man, I really want to be writing about this. But I have this assignment and I've got to do this. So I can I've experienced that where you really feel like a challenge specific. Getting into that. Gotcha. But when it comes to just creative expression, that's all in our own heads and just not us accepting our own imagination and the ideas that are inside of us.
I like that. This was
enlightening.
Yeah. Okay, and then another question is, what, in your opinion, are the most important elements of good writing?
Honesty, authenticity, being yourself, not being afraid to show your true imagination and essence and spirit on the page. You can feel, like, I like writing that I can feel and that makes me feel and see things and ponder things. I don't like that I'm feeling like I'm being talked at or that it feels generic. I'll get bored really fast with really generic. Absolutely. It's got to be soulful and
organic.
Yeah, organic.
Right,
people want to feel something, and people want to see vulnerable stories and experiences shared.
Right. Yeah.
At the end of the day, I just want to feel that humanity.
Absolutely. So, this is called what is, living a rich life.
Okay.
Right. So, again, what kind of the whole concept behind it, I started polling people. I did have my own experience. Depending on who I speak with, younger, older, their responses were different. Kind of helped me fold up the 6 elements.
Okay.
Which, to me, they're in order for where I am in my life.
Okay.
So what, I asked the question to you, what does living a rich life mean to you?
For me, living a rich life is realizing that everything I need to live a fulfilled life is inside of me already.
Oh. Okay.
It's all inside already.
Okay.
And that as long as I am living in gratitude and appreciation of that, that there's a higher power, that there is a source inside of me that if I would just surrender to it, could provide all the abundance, all the opportunity, all of the desires that I have in my heart. If I surrender to that, I can, the possibilities for life are endless. I think that the opposite of living a rich life is looking outside of yourself for fulfillment and looking into other people, or I'll be happy when, or I need this to make me feel like this.
Okay.
And just having this attitude of lack that says, I don't have these things, therefore I feel like this.
Gotcha.
I feel like it all comes from inside. So I feel like if you have a rich inner life, then everything will fall into place.
Okay. Well, what we do here, again, we have a lot of stuff with the name Rich in it.
Yes.
Did you catch that?
Yes, I did.
I am Rich James. It's Living a Rich Life recap.
Okay.
All right? Now, this might sound familiar to you.
Yeah.
Okay? So I figured I would share.
Okay.
Put some of your words and some of my words together to close out the show.
Oh, cool. I love it.
All right?
Yeah.
How does that sound?
Yeah, I like it.
All right? So, this piece here, I'll go first.
Okay.
And I'm going to read your piece, and then you can read my piece.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
So we slide it over here.
I can see it.
Okay, you can see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
I can barely see it. That's why it's so big. So, writing allows for us to cultivate an intimate place where we can be whole. And with the world constantly tempting us to cut away parts of ourselves, wholeness is something we desperately need to nurture.
I feel like that falls very much in line with what I said too about living a rich life.
And it does.
It's like inside.
That's Gigi Renee Hill. Those are her words right off her website.
Yep.
Right?
Allthemanylayers.com.
Yes.
Rich's words.
My words. Go ahead and read my words.
Life changes. So whether you choose to write about it or believe in the 6 elements of living a rich life, be inspired and motivated to explore all your many layers. Yes. Because life is going to keep changing and those layers are going to keep forming and evolving. I love it.
That's hot.
Yeah.
Make sure you put this on your site. So, with that being said, I want to thank Gigi Renee
for
joining. Let's make sure we support this beautiful black queen. The books are good. Just the cover alone and me flipping through it looks like some pretty good reading. I'm certain it is. Again, thank you. It's good to see you. I'm getting a little emotional. Right? But we want to thank you for joining. I want you to tune in next week to Living a Rich Life Talk Show. We're going to have the one and only Ezekwe Devereaux here on BeExposedRadio.com, living a rich life. Let's talk about it. Thanks for joining. Until next time, good night.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's